Today is Saturday, December 20th, 2025. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for the finale episode of Survivor 49.
We are at the end, right at the precipice. We just got a little bit of unfinished business. We got to let the super fans chime in and give us their take on the finale, the season as a whole, maybe some insights, what they gained from that short season 50 trailer, what they're thinking about 50 at least, as we head into the holiday break. So how many folks do we have?
24.
24. Awesome. Okay. That is a big show.
Yes, it is.
I'm glad so many showed up for the finale to weigh in on it. Is there any business that we need to take care of?
I don't believe so.
The JSFL website is back up and running.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so that's all good. And all right, I think we're good to go. First up, we got a call from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Well, I'm going to say this. It was maybe not the best season because of the bad moves and gameplay, some of the disappointment, but I will say this finale delivered for me. Maybe not in the beginning with the whole Christina vote. I think that was just whatever. But the rest of it, I let out a little bit of a big because I will say, when it got to Final Four, I did not expect Soph to win that last challenge. The way she was behind, I thought that Savannah was going to set the record with her fifth win, but it didn't happen, and Soph pulled it out there, and she earned it. And to her credit, she made her two closest allies, which were also her biggest threats, compete and fired, which was great, and it led to Rizzo's demise. He couldn't even fire, he barely got it through, and it died out on him. Kudos to Savannah, and I love that we had a final three women together, even with Sage in there. It was the first time since 29 when Natalie won it in one of the Blood versus Water seasons. It was her, Missy, and Jacqueline that were in it with the loved one 20 years ago. But congrats there to Savannah. I think Sophie on the jury said it best. Her back was to the wall, especially after the main blind side, but she found her way to get back out. She clawed. She won immunity challenges when she needed. She made the moves when she needed. And I didn't see Sofa getting the two votes, and it was from MC and Christina. Good on her, an underdog story, and she got runner-up, and even Sage got one vote from Jawan. So it was a solid final try with some great questions, I thought. Solid answers. Didn't seem that anyone was bitter at all. And again, the after show is the after show. I do love that Probst gave the update on Jake's status. Poor Sage was an emotional wreck. I think she was even worse than Eva from 48. I like to hear her interviews later on to see how she's doing emotionally and psychologically. But this was maybe not the best season for the new era. I liked it, say, better than 41. A little bit, well, maybe not quite as good. I'll put it down there with like 46. I think maybe I liked 46 a little better. Well, no, I liked it, I don't know, I'm torn between where I ranked this one with 46, but not as good as 47 or 48. But Savannah, without question, deserved it. It was a good winner. Now 50, guys. We see who's back. Steph, Sari, Jenna Lewis, Colby, Coach, Ozzy, Christian, and it looks like Rizzo's back. Camilla, Joe. On I'm going to say is let's see how this hands in the fan stuff works. I'm skeptical and I'm hopeful at the same time. I liked it to bring him back players because it's a special season and an anniversary. But again, I'm very skeptical of it too. Well, let's hope for the best, guys. That's what it's all about. Enjoy the holidays, guys. Take care and be safe. Woo!
Whoa, thanks,
That's
Pete.
a good way to describe it. A little skeptical,
Yes.
but excited and hopeful.
Uh-huh.
And, anxious to see how it's going to go.
Yeah, I think I've sort of been on a roller coaster with that since we saw the trailer there in the after show. So,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I guess I haven't had the time to even think about it. So
Yep.
I've been pretty busy.
All right. Thanks, Pete. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Rebecca calling from Oahu. I really liked it. I'm very much like Joanne in that I found the season to be hit or miss, but the finale was really satisfying, and I felt like all the right people ended up in the right places, and it did a lot for me for, in my mind, redeeming what had been a hit or miss lackluster season at many times. I did not get my final 5 order. The only one I got right was I predicted Savannah would win, solely based on my USB was still in it, although going into it, I really wasn't sure. I had Sage going out 5th, which I was wrong about. I loved the arc where Sage and Savannah passed back and forth that olive branch, became friends. That was actually really satisfying to watch, to see two people who had been at odds become really find common ground and form a relationship. That was awesome. Except for that, I didn't like that they had to eat with the mud all over their faces. I know Jeff Probst loves to show people filthy, eating yummy food. Personally, I couldn't do it. I'd have to wash first, but I digress. I was happy that Christina was voted out 5th, even though it wasn't my pick, because I felt she was such an uneven player. I liked that Sophie took the next immunity challenge. How amazing was that? I really was hoping Savannah would break the record, but it was a great moment for Sophie to finally make a frickin' move, and pitting her two biggest allies against each other. Bold. Super bold, great move. I liked that Rizzo went out in fire because I felt in many ways he had a one-note game. Yes, he was able to convince people to vote his way many times, and I think Savannah had a lot to do with that too. But the showboating with the idol had gotten pretty old for me, and his time came. I was actually happy he was not in the final. I was very happy it was Savannah, Sage, and Sophie. And I thought it was absolutely adorable when Sophie got votes and she was like, "Really? A vote for me?" I thought that was so cute. I did not like Christina's question to Savannah. I'm one of the most social people out there, and after 26 days of depletion, I wouldn't remember anybody's name. I would not remember facts. I don't remember them now, and I'm well rested and well fed every day. I thought she was gunning for her in a way that was cruel, not competitive, and I didn't like it. But I loved the finale. Interesting that they chose Savannah and Rizzo to go on 50. I would have preferred Sophie and Sage. I would have preferred Sage over either one of them, and I really would have liked to see Sophie play again right away. Maybe they wanted a recent winner, and that's why they chose Savannah. Yes, she had a great game, but she just had a great game. And Rizzo, I'm a little tired of his Riz God baby persona. I didn't think we needed to see him again that soon. Always bittersweet when the season ends because I miss everybody. I miss the podcast. I miss the Facebook page, and I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas season. We have had a week of intense sadness and tragedy. Let's all think good thoughts and be strong together. And I wish everybody a happy, healthy, joyful holiday season. And let's all rise above the sadness and darkness that we've experienced in the world in the last week. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy. So grateful for all you do for us, and happy holidays, everyone.
Excellent. Thanks, Rebecca. Next up, we got an email from Matt and Summer in East Tennessee.
Hey, Joanne, Stacy, and Survivor friends. Well, here we all are again at the end of another New Era season. While this finale was certainly more unpredictable than the bulk of this season, it lacked some of the punch of the old era as far as twists and turns, especially with that last challenge, Where is some motion when you need it? We didn't do anything special food or beverage-wise since Matt had his office Christmas feast earlier Wednesday. A small happy hour with snack was all we did this time. We'll do better for the season 50 finale. Probably some kind of seafood and definitely not Applebee's.
Our Applebee's experiment for the finale, what was it? I was 46. Didn't go particularly well, did it?
No, it did not.
But we had a theme. That was what we were going for.
We know we're not the only ones that have noticed, and it's gotten clearer with each episode. But there was so much game that we just didn't see this season. From Sophie S.'s lack of popularity to Nate's scheming behind the scenes. We can add Christina's outstanding fire-making abilities. Where did that come from? We sure would have made our final 5 picks differently had we known that.
Now here's a catch. I don't know that she was outstanding at it. She was just competent. And then, relatively speaking, yes.
She was just the only one who could do it.
Yeah, who had demonstrated skill.
Who had experience.
Who had actually done it at all.
Yeah.
Here's a different thing. They're outstanding. This season, this cast is all about really small degrees of just enough.
Okay, let's go back to Matt and Summer.
Yes.
Speaking of Christina, she really grew on us, and if the character arc is the show's new focus, she has to be this season's breakout star. While seemingly ill-equipped for at least 2 of the big factors in the game, physical and challenge, she did make it to the final 5 on sheer grit. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing her play again, but next time, hopefully a bit more ready. We were glad to see Rizzo finally play his idol, but even though he was our USB throughout, he came across as a nervous teenager in the last third of the game. Mm-hmm. He's awfully lucky Sophie B didn't listen to her grandma and boot him from the game sooner. As far as the final outcome, what can we say? Savannah did predict her destiny in a pre-game interview where she stated this would be the easiest $1 million she would ever make. Well, we'll see how well she fares against the season 50 cast. And we would both be surprised if Sage or Sophie B make it to the island to play again. Along with Christina, we'd like to see Stephen, and we could see Joanne making it back. One quick question on the JSFL website. We've not been able to log in on any of our mobile or laptop devices. Has something changed there? Would love to see how we ended up since we had the sole lead for the last 2 weeks. Well, time to get ready for Christmas. We'll have to rely on football for our wintertime adrenaline fix until February. Thanks for all you do and Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to everyone. All right, thanks Matt and Summer. And the website did have a glitch, but it's been repaired, and you can go back and check out everything. And congratulations. We did not realize that you were CCB from Tennessee. All right, up next, we've got a call from Rashmi.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all my Survivor friends. It's been quite some time since I've given feedback, and one of the reasons was that I had gone on a holiday with my sisters to Egypt, and also this season has been a bit of a ho-hum, though I've been listening to all the podcasts and listening to everybody. So it's over, and it was quite predictable that Savannah was going to win, and I had thought the final 3 would be Savannah, Rizzo, and Sophie. By the end of it, even though Rizzo was my USB, he wasn't very likable to me in the end, Savannah and them. And I don't know what to say about it, but I just think there was just too much with the production. They're putting in too many things, and they try to put all these different twists. Though saying that, I think the last episode I did enjoy. And the highlight, of course, this season was that we didn't have any of the players lose their votes. Rizzo's every time faking out with his idol just got a bit tiring by the end. The fire challenge was really exciting. I didn't know I would cheer for Savannah to win, and she did. So all in all, it's over and done with, and I'm looking forward to season 50. They showed the cast. I saw the cast, and some of the people from the newer seasons I didn't even remember. I think I was quite happy to see Kyle and Kamala, yeah, she was there, so she was pretty good. And I do remember Dee, but I didn't remember the others. But I just don't want to see some of them like Ozzy and Coach, and I don't know. I wish they'd got somebody like Rob C in there, some Natalie Anderson there. But hey, that's what it is, and I will be watching, and I'm waiting to hear what everybody has to say. Oh, by the way, I don't even know how many points I got on my JSFL because the last time I tried to get in, I couldn't get in. So it doesn't matter. Anyway, wishing everybody a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Stay safe, stay well, and keep warm, guys. But we are going to have a 39-degree day on Christmas Day, so it's going to be pretty warm. But on that note, bye.
All right. It's going to be a scorcher on Christmas for you. Sorry about that. Thanks, Rashmi. That's the Southern Hemisphere for you. Get hot Christmases for sure. And in Perth, absolutely. Next up, we got a call from TitoBurrito.
Hello, Joanne, Stacy, and all the other Survivor fans out there. This is TitoBurrito calling from Philadelphia this time. So I just wanted to start off by saying this season, if I had to rank it, I'd say probably in the bottom 25. Not the best season, not the worst. We could have had a little more development of characters and better storylines and better gameplay, but we didn't, and it's okay. I'm just always happy to see Survivor on my screen. So I did want to go to the fire making technique. One, we saw such great technique from Australia versus the world, and I just wonder when someone will implement that, bring that over to America. I know Sari saw it live, and maybe she can bring it during the Survivor 50 season, but I'm hoping that people start to use those techniques because they're clearly strong. I just always thought it was really funny that every time Savannah spoke, Christina's face was zoomed in on by the camera crew. They didn't give her rest for a moment. We got to see every grimace, every fake smile. We really got in there. And Christina's final tribal moment may have been the best thing to come from this season. That was her fire-making challenge right there, and she definitely burned Savannah. And in addition to that, I did notice that there were multiple times across this episode to which I thought that they would just name the episode this, that someone said, started from the bottom, now I'm here, which is from a song. I'm sure it's from other things too. But so I think Savannah said it, Rizzo said it, and Sophie said it. 3 people in one episode said the same quote. So that was a little extra. I thought they could have either named the episode that or edited that out because we didn't need that. And congratulations to everyone. I noticed the all female final group, and I thought that was kind of cute. And again, just backtracking a little bit, overall, season not the best. Winner, not my favorite, but hey, we got what we got, and we'll see them, unfortunately, again, season 50. Well, that's all I have for now. I'm going to peace out and go back into my hidey hole before the next season starts. Hopefully everyone is having a happy and safe holidays. Peace out, TitoBurrito. Bye.
All right. Good job, Tito. Next up, we got an email from Tara in New York. Hi, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor friends. With less than 24 hours until my family gets together for Christmas, I really should be in my kitchen dipping 100 Oreo truffles in chocolate right now, but it just wouldn't feel right to put season 49 in the rearview mirror without popping in for the last feedback show.
All right.
Yes, there you go. That's a super fan. I have to admit I had pretty low expectations going into this week, but I was so wrong. This was definitely one of the best episodes of the season. Savannah's win wasn't a surprise, but what a ride we had getting there. Sophie had such a great night after last week's disaster. She was feisty, funny, fierce, and just seemed so genuine this week. Excellent alliteration. I loved seeing her win the last challenge, and she finally made the right decision, putting Rizzo and Savannah in fire. I was really rooting for her by the end, and her reaction to getting that second vote was priceless. Speaking of fire, how can these contestants continue to be so clueless about fire making? It just boggles my mind. And as far as the challenge itself, I kind of hoped Savannah would go down in Rizzo's flames. She acted so entitled after the final immunity challenge, and her snarky comments about Sophie were a major turnoff. She's my USB, so at least her win was good for my JSFL score, and the final result was definitely a silver lining. Seeing 3 strong women sit together at the end after 20 seasons was amazing. Since I really need to get to those little chocolate balls, I'll just quickly run through a few more highlights. Seeing the jury react as Jeff said, "Riz God, the tribe has spoken," with a straight face was hilarious. I also liked the new and improved rites of passage. And even though it's apparently controversial, I loved Christina's callback to the old era with that biting jury question. As usual, the after show was my least favorite part of the night. I didn't expect Sage to win, but she was an amazing addition to the cast, and it hurt my heart to see her suffering right after such a stressful final tribal. I'm hoping this was the last we'll see of the Fiji after show. Lastly, I can't go without mentioning Survivor 50. The first part of the trailer was so exciting. I loved hearing Coach coaching and Q queuing. Just that little peek of the players had me hyped up for February. And then we got to the second part of the preview. I'm really trying to keep my hopes up, but why is Mr. Beast in our first look at 50? I know Jimmy Fallon and Billie Eilish are big Survivor fans, but all I can say is, ugh. I guess we'll have to give them the benefit of the doubt for now and hope 50 isn't ruined by a bunch of gimmicks. That's a similar path that I've been on. No matter what happens in 50, Survivor Fans Podcast will make it better, and I'll be eagerly awaiting the arrival of On the Grill in February. I'll really miss our little tribe over the coming weeks, and I hope you all have a great start to the new year. Of course, a big thanks to you, Joanne and Stacy, for all your hard work this season. Happy holidays to everyone. See you all soon. Thanks, Tara. Great job. Next up, we got a call from Brandon.
Hey there, Joanne and Stacy. It's Brandon from Indiana here with my feedback on the finale of season 49 of Survivor. We've made it. It was okay. It was all right. I enjoyed it, I guess. Obviously, as I've said throughout basically the second half of the season, disappointing the way that Sage went. I think it felt like maybe she was putting way too much stock in that reveal. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's not a bad thing to reveal. You can do that. Just don't think that that's going to get you votes. You need game stuff to talk about. What is that? Just really surprised me that was her big thing off the bat. And even going into it, the confessionals, it seemed like she was, oh man, I've definitely got this because I've got this revealed to tell people. And yeah, Sue owns a flight school. I don't care. I don't know. It just did not. It was very surprising to me. Of all the things that she did this season, I thought that was the one that strategically was maybe the worst thought up of what are you doing? That's not these other two people you're here with. Yeah, they've had a lot of stuff. Granted, Sophie fumbled very, very publicly, but what the heck? So yeah, the episode was fine. I enjoyed it. It was definitely very long though. 3 hours is a bit much for me, especially with such a lackluster after show. I really, really hope of all the votes in season 50 that the live post show is back. I think that's the one that seemed like the most for sure, but we'll see. I also thought it was very sure that people would vote that we would go easy on idols and settle it down and maybe make it more simple or go back to basics. And clearly that vote has gone the other way, it seems. I've just been thinking about it. It's as a pro wrestling fan, one of the things that a pro wrestling fan on the internet has learned many times over the years is that the internet is the vocal minority of the fandom. They're the people that care enough to sit there and think about it all the time, but they're also not the people that are the general audience. And I think maybe that's what we're learning here with this Survivor thing. Maybe it's just something that they had planned anyways, and they were going to do that to try to amp up, get some headlines and stuff. But to me, the Billie Eilish boomerang idol feels a lot like go wild with advantages, dynamic advantages, or whatever the heck they called them in the Survivor survey. I don't know. Did all the Facebook casual boomers come in and take this from us? Did they cause this? Is this why we're doing this? I don't know. I'm hopeful that those are small moments and that we'll have a good season, but it really was a big crash in the middle of that preview. I was so excited until that moment of 4 back-to-back celebrity mentions. We'll see. Can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say. Thanks for the podcast. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, the live finale is back. It's going to be, what did I say? May 20th, I think. That Survivor 50. What's that?
I don't remember.
The Survivor 50 challenge with the idols in each of the 50 states. That's the prize is a trip to the live finale. So good stuff. Thanks, Brandon. Next up, we got a call from Pat.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy, this is Pat calling from Missouri. Just give my thoughts on the finale and the season overall. The finale was fine, in my opinion, just like the season. It was kind of neither here nor there. Savannah was the deserving winner. She played, I think, probably the best throughout the season, at least from everything that I saw. In my opinion, she did. She was a challenge beast, and I don't know about her social game necessarily being that great, but she won, so I guess this worked out. I never really felt sorry for her whenever she would give her sob story about being fired and the people at her work didn't like her. I always got the impression that she has always been the popular girl. All through school, all through college, in her life, she's always been the popular girl. And the most devastating thing that's ever happened to her was that the people she worked with didn't like her. And that devastated. And for me, I'm just like, really? Get over it. But that's just my opinion. So take it as what it is. But I guess I'm ready for season 50. This season here was just neither here nor there for me. It's pretty boring. The challenges, I was never impressed with the challenges. The players never impressed me. And it's not Survivor's fault, or maybe it's the people that pick the players' fault, but the players are what make Survivor. And these players were just nothing special for me. But still, it's Survivor. It was a great season to watch just because it's Survivor. But that's really about it. Now, on to season 50, I don't know what's going to happen, of course. Nobody does, or anything. And some of those players that they showed, I don't even remember. I'm going to have to definitely go back and look, try to figure out who certain people are and why are they even on there. But I guess that is Survivor. So the hardest thing about the finale being over for me is that the podcast will be over for a few months. And I enjoy the podcast as much or more than I actually do the show. And I think a lot of people feel that way. So Joanna, Stacy, thanks for everything you do. And thanks to all the other fans that call in and make this podcast great. And until February, we'll see you.
All right. Thanks, Pat. Yeah, I think the way it'll work out is that we'll be off about 2 months, maybe a little shy. I can't remember. We were looking at the calendar. Maybe not quite 2 months from now, and we'll be back again. Good deal. Thanks, Pat. Next up, we got an email from Erin in Canada.
Hey, well, that is a close on season 49, and I'm gonna let out a big sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Savannah broke the mold of the trajectory of the new era, as she was not a social player, more cutthroat and strategic. She was definitely most deserving, but I always prefer to cheer for an underdog, so when Sophie won immunity, that redeemed the finale for me a bit, as it wasn't a total landslide. I thought Sophie could use that redemption after the major blunder she made the week before as well. During the cake break intermission, my hubby and I watched a recording of Wheel of Fortune. We love that show. We watch that while we eat dinner every night.
Yeah, right there with you.
Savannah was fun to cheer for because it reminded me of my favorite baseball team, the Savannah Bananas. Look them up. It is MLB with a twist.
I've seen a little bit on that. The guy who runs that is pretty amazing.
I have a question about tribal council. Do you think the jury are given a list of sample questions to ask the final three? Because it seems rather scripted and topical based, social, strategic, etc. Not sure your thoughts on that.
Well, Probst went into this latest phase. I don't think we've heard him explain it at the beginning of the final tribal council in a while. I don't even know if he's done it in the 40s, but yeah, he shifted it over to this format. It's not scripted, but they have an outline for how they want them to approach it now.
Yeah, and certain things maybe that they want them
to touch on.
Yeah. Well, Merry Christmas to you all, and see you all in 2026 for season 50. I must say, I'm looking forward to seeing Rizzo get a second crack at it, although please leave the Riz God thing at home.
Oh, no, he'll bring that in spades.
When you ask someone to call you by your nickname, it's not a nickname.
Oh, Sweet. That's excellent.
Have a great week, everyone, and a holly jolly Christmas. All right. Thanks, Erin.
Yeah, he said in the On Fire podcast where they interviewed him real quickly that he didn't do anything to prepare and that he would be sharing where he finished and where Savannah finished in their season.
Oh.
Yeah. And they're not on the same starting tribes.
Gunning for Savannah. Maybe.
I think he's just trying to put everybody's mind at rest because they're coming in as such big unknowns. Next up, we got a call from Anderson.
Hey, Joanna Stacy, this is Anderson from North Carolina calling with my feedback for the finale. I got my USC points that Sam couldn't get me in 47, and I finished 3 points behind Rebecca for the side challenge. I don't know where I finished overall, but I think I did pretty good. 99 points is not easy to do, and my highest score ever, and way better than last season. But I'm looking forward to hearing Parker's parody songs, and don't even get me started on 50. I know my USB. Simply, just already Sam, right? Coach is winning 50. I set him up big time to win. Monologuing the intro. He's going to be the narrator this season. Be the leading in Leading Alliance. Destroy everybody and have wonderful strategic moves without anyone knowing. Win the season. And, yeah, cement his place in the top 10 all-time Survivor legends. But that's just my opinion, and it should be used. But congratulations, Rebecca, on winning the side challenge. And I will talk to y'all next season. Bye.
Rebecca didn't win. She came in second. You came in third, and Justin came in first in the side challenge. Good deal. Thanks, Anderson. Coach, oh my goodness, that's your USB, huh? Well, I like your pick. I think I'll be hearing a song from you. Next up, we got a call from Drew.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew. I am calling in before the deadline. I mean, barely, like an hour before the deadline, but it's not after, right? So Here's how it went. We had just enough time on Thursday to watch down to the final 4, but not quite the fire challenge, because then we had to run, we had some Christmas stuff, and then we came back and watched the fire challenge, the final tribal council, and the winner reveal. But then by then it was so late, we were like, we cannot stay up and watch, quote, reunion show right now. So today it's Saturday, and we still haven't watched it because it's that time of year. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm just glad we were able to watch it and not have to wait until the weekend to know who won. So I managed to get, so let's see, number 5 and number 3 I had switched. But other than that, I had the final order right, meaning I had first, second, and fourth right. I just kind of thought they'd take Christina to the end as a goat, sort of, so to speak. But I guess she probably had a little bit better of a chance at the end than maybe we realized, because I think socially, as she kind of pointed out, in her question to Savannah, probably had a lot going on, but I still definitely wouldn't have won. But I have some weird thoughts about Sage, because I've always kind of liked Sage and felt like she had a lot more going on than people gave her credit for, and even than she presented, because she was quirky, but she was smart in a lot of different ways, and she highlighted that, I think, but still not enough. Did really liked it. I thought the last challenges were not bad. The relay this time seemed pretty exciting. It just had some different elements, and the crow's nest and the barrel walk, and it was probably for this season the best finish that it could have been. It's funny how even to the very last second Jeff was trying to hype it up as some sort of, this is marketing talk, you guys. They write these things to try to spin, to persuade you that a season or a show or an episode or whatever is something that it not necessarily is. So it's fine. I've said for years that Jeff is the most annoying part of the show. So I'm not too put out by that. But were you two happy with the Adelaide and Charlie just walked in? Were you two happy about the winner? We have it with Savannah. Who did you want to win, Charlie? You wanted Toby to win? Oh, you wanted Steven to win, Dave? Oh, yeah. Steven would have been a great winner. Sophie actually kind of won me over in the end, and she seemed really surprised when she got any votes at all, so that was kind of sweet. But Matt, who's Matt? Oh,
who's Matt?
That was like 100 years ago, buddy. Anyway, I'm gonna go, but we still don't even know. I'm sort of surmising who the returnees from this season are, but I'm sure we'll watch the finish out the finale today or tomorrow. But Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a wonderful and a Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Drew. Next up, we got a call from David.
Hey, Joanna and Stacy. It's David in Pittsburgh. Well, we're done. And it wasn't the worst season of Survivor ever. Certainly wasn't the best. It was okay. I'm just not sure I'll ever rewatch it again, but you never know. I think it really was overshadowed by 50, and I think there was a reason for that. One of the problems for me was that I never had a USB I was really rooting for. I picked Jason, and I did it because I liked his story of being a last-minute substitute, but he never really stood out for me. And after he was gone, I thought, well, maybe MC would be the one, but it turned out to be the same, for the same reason, the same results. Another thing was that it was spoiled, for me anyway, about Rizzo and Savannah being on 50. I didn't necessarily think that they would win, but it did affect the lack of suspense at times early on when there was a possibility of them being booted. And I just figured, no, if they're going to be in 50, they have to be in the game much longer. And as we got into it more and more, I started to get more anxious, feeling one of them was going to go. And if not for that, at least I wanted to see what Sophie was going to do with the knowledge is power advantage. But as Joanne says, survivor is survivor, and that's usually good enough for me. So moving on to 50, I've already picked my USB. And so, of course, listening to last week's listener feedback, Rebecca, you picked the same USB, and that was Chrissy. She was the only player that I couldn't, of the 50s, that I couldn't remember. So a couple of months ago, I went back and rewatched her season, and I saw how well she played and think, yes, Rizzo, you're right. The best player doesn't always win. Interestingly enough, it was kind of similar to this season where there was a very strategic player, that was Chrissy, and a challenge beast, turned out to be Ben. But they both ended up in the finals where Rizzo didn't. And for the winner of this season, I was happy with either Rizzo or Savannah. I would even say if Soph had won, I guess I would have been okay with that, but not Christina or Sage. So in the end, it turned out okay. So we're done. And I just wanted to wish you, Joanne and Stacy, and all of our Survivor family a joyful and meaningful holiday. And if any of you don't have family or friends to share the holidays with, just remember that your Survivor family is here, and we'll be back to see how 50 goes, and back soon, I hope. Happy holidays, everyone, and talk to you in the new season.
Well said. Thanks, David. Next up, got an email from Laurie in California. Hello, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans. I've watched Survivor since season 1. This is my first season listening to your podcast, and I love it. Thank you for your thorough recaps and insightful commentary. It seems I agree with just about everything you say. All right. I'm writing to tell you about my experience with the finale. Joe Hunter, season 48 finalist, lives in my city, Sacramento. He hosted a Q&A hour followed by a finale watch party at a local theater venue. It was so much fun. Even though there were many questions he couldn't answer, my question for him was, how much, if anything, did you learn about the season 49 players who joined 50 regarding their season, how they played, and the outcome of that season? He couldn't answer. Weirdly, I'm not sure why, maybe because he was afraid he would reveal who it was, as it had not been formally announced, although I think everyone already knew who it would be. He made it sound like we would find out the answer during 50. I kind of doubt it, but I will wait to see. I was happy that Savannah won. What an incredible competitor, but I couldn't believe how many people in the theater seemed to want Sage to win, including Joe, who said she played a great game. Huh? I agree with your huh. There was much cheering when Sophie pulled out the win for the final immunity challenge. It was especially fun to have Joe stand up during commercials and speak about what the players are going through. Thanks again. You have a new fan. Best regards, Laurie. Oh, thanks, Laurie.
Yeah, I'm glad you got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's always fun, when you get to do something like that live and participate. Yeah. And
I bet that was at the Crest? Is that what that was called downtown, that theater?
Yeah, the Crest.
Yeah, we used to live near you, Laurie.
Yeah.
Till a little over
we
a
were
year
out
ago.
in Orangevale for, I was there for like 37 years.
Yeah, 30 plus years. Good deal. Thanks, Laurie. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana. It's over. We did it. We made it. We survived. The season's gone. It's done. It came, it went. Whoop-de-doo. Savannah won. Congratulations, Savannah. I don't care. She's going to be, much like this season, she's going to be very low on my rankings. She played well. She broke the immunity record. Fantastic. Congratulations. But she's a jerk. And much like Brian Heidick, I don't really want to rank, even if they played well, I don't want to rank a mean and narcissistic person high up in my winner rankings. That's reserved for good people like Tom Westman or Ewell or Tony. I ain't going to put Savannah up there. Come on. Anyway, she's bottom of the barrel. It's much like this season. Wow. I haven't been this mad at a season of Survivor since 41. I thought we were done. With the sucky stuff. I mean, there were a couple things. We had 2 tribes. That was pretty awesome when it happened. Then we swapped again, which was stupid. And there was no Mergatory, which is pretty sweet. But we still did the double tribal. It was fine. Hindsight, it was fine. I've seen worse. It's not Island of the Idols bad. There was nobody that was watching the show. No Handsy Dans. At least there's that. But it sucked. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I lost the side challenge. That's a bummer. I was hoping that Sophie could do it. Because I started to convince myself leading up to the finale that, all right, maybe I'm overthinking it, and Savannah's not just going to clean sweep win this thing because Sophie is likable. And I really thought that Christina's question was going to lose her the game because that was a great question. That was amazing. I was like, get her. Yeah, that is an amazing question. That's going to lose her $1 million because she's going to reveal that she's a narcissist and doesn't care about anybody but herself. This is great. But they still voted for her over Sophie, even though Sophie actually knew all the answers because she actually cares about the people and she's a nice person and deserves to win the game. Anyway, that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to be like a Natalie White winning over Russell situation, but it is what it is. I lost the side challenge. Whoop-de-whoop. I'll sing a song. Let's see. Season 50, I have thoughts, lots of thoughts that I'll get to at a later date, but I've known for a large majority of the season that Rizzo and Savannah are going to be on 50. If you didn't see it in the preview, they're there. They're back, guys. Woohoo. And I think anybody who did get spoiled on that will probably felt similar to me, where it just killed any interest in this season because it's just so obvious. Every tribal, it's one of them against somebody else. And then the somebody else gets voted out. And at a certain point, I'm like, okay, maybe things will change now because the lowest placing member of 50 is Tiffany, who went out at 8th. So, like, that kind of opens the door a little bit, but it just kept going. It kept with that theme, and it kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going. Anyway, I wish we existed in a time where you didn't just get a cast leaked, like, super quickly. I wish that we didn't do that. Anyway, that's all I got. I'll see you guys next time. Happy holidays. Sing a song in the spring or whatever. All right. Bye.
All right. Thanks for showing up.
You got it all out.
Yeah, I think you did. Just clear it. Let
all
it clear
right.
now. Clean the slate for 50.
I think you should go back and watch it again, Parker.
Oh, no.
before you do your song.
No. Oh, that's the thing. He's going to have to relive it because of the song.
That was my point.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Poor Parker. Next up, we got a call from Shahin.
Hi, Joe and Stacey, North's Fire fans. Hope everyone's well and safe. 49 done. That was a drag. I think we all know how this season went. I think it was another one of those good winner, poor cast seasons, and I think we just had too many of those. I think, Stacey, when you've compared this season to 46 in this week's episode and last week's, I think they were very aptly put. I don't think 48 is... Like, when I brought up 48, I don't think that was a very good comparison, albeit made by others on Reddit. I think it was just due to proximity more than anything else. But 46 feels like it's the better comparison. I think they mimic each other really well. It's funny too, right, that nearly half of the cast from the 40s for season 50 are coming from seasons 46 and 49. So it really tells you one thing and one thing only. They care about TV moments. They don't care about quality. And I think this is where I'm really disappointed in where Survivor is going, is that they clearly don't care about the quality. If they cared about the quality, I think they would have better cast individuals from the 40s, and they probably would have better cast individuals from seasons 1 to 40 as well. I am disappointed in some of the choices that were made by the quote-unquote fans. I think that unless they were not available, I think there was so many better options that could have come into the 40s, and so many options that could have been better. I mean, I would have loved someone like a Ricard. I would have loved... there was so many good players in the early 40s that played good games and played hard, but they were just in terrible seasons. And now we're just getting terrible casting all around. And we truly don't know how good some of these winners are as a result. So it makes it difficult. I found it really interesting. I always bring this up at the end of the season. I look at the Dalton Ross rankings in EW, and I think he did it this morning for you guys, tonight for me, and he made this the worst season for him, and he's done it in the mid-30s. I think he put it 35, and I found that quite interesting that he found it to be the worst, because I think 46 might just tip it, but interesting to see that even he didn't think that. And he's usually puts a slightly positive spin on things. He does, irrespective of that. The episode itself, I thought it was okay, the double episode, but I will have to admit I didn't watch the finale after the fire-making challenge. I just got too bored. I found it was really predictable after that. When Rizzo lost, I was just like, okay, well, I know who's going to win, and I don't need to watch the jury just try to go at these guys, because I just know who's going to win. Now, it's good that you guys were able to let me know about how that went, but yeah, I think, again, Savannah, worthy winner. Who knows how good she actually is. And for the first time in the 40s, we found someone that's won in a really old school way. And she reminds me a lot of Ben. Funny enough, Fire Making Challenge started with his Ben's rule, essentially. Yeah. But I feel like the driven manner of a win, this will to win, no one's done that since him, I feel. Because I don't think he had a social game. She had a social game. And I think he actually showed a better social game when he came back for season 40. But yeah, some parallels to draw there. But thanks for all you do. Great to talk to you guys again. And next time I talk to you guys, it will be with a baby girl. So thanks for all you do. Cheers, bye.
Exciting.
All right.
Looking forward to hearing more about that. Thanks, Shahin. Next up, we got a call from Johnny.
Hey, Joanne and Stacey and Survivor fans. It's Johnny from Wisconsin calling here. And that was a fun episode to finish. I had a party for one here. I ordered in a pizza. I got to watch it live. It was just a good old time, except for when I checked Survivor standings and thought I was going to for sure have to sing because I wasn't going to beat Stacey. And I was like, no. But hooray, Parker, hey, I'll take it. That sounds good to me. I can't wait to hear that. One comment I really wanted to make was definitely the question by Christina. It was like, whoa, I can't believe they're allowing this on the edit. It was kind of cutting deep, and yeah, I guess Jeff just let it go, which I'm glad he did because it was kind of funny. She just hated Savannah, and there was no way she was going to vote for her. And then I did actually really like the way Sage conducted herself for the most part at Final Tribal. I always love it when players are able to flip a little bit into a more intelligent speaking version of themselves right in the final three. I thought Sage was like almost scary. It was like, well, what kind of terminology are you using? That really threw me for a spin, and I was like, this is quietly the most impressive person that went from seeming like all season she was just kind of ditzy to all of a sudden using these terms from the Army, and I don't know if that's going to go well with the jury, but I'm impressed. So I guess the season got a good bow on top of it. Now, looking at the next season lineup before the premiere happens on February 25th, we've got 2 weeks of episodes. Apparently there are going to be 6 1-hour episodes, 2 2-hour episodes, and 3 hour-and-a-half episodes. I would love to hear speculation of what you guys think would be some of the episodes that we'd see based on that. But mark your calendars for February 9th, because that's going to be the first one at the usual time on a Monday night. So that'll be fun to see. Out of everybody I see, I'm probably most excited to see Christian come back. I always love that guy. That was one of the seasons I actually returned back to watching Survivor to see was David versus Goliath. So always thrilled to see 3 people come back from that season because I thought even Probst really loved the cast on that one. So I guess it doesn't shock me there. And hey, you guys will really appreciate this. They're setting aside 3 hours for that premiere day. And I know we'll have plenty of tribe time, right? Right. Mm-hmm. Anyway, looking forward to next season. And until next time.
3 tribes of 8 will be bouncing around. I'm glad they went that way instead of 4 of 6. So at least there'll be a little wiggle room in each tribe. Good deal. Thanks, Johnny. Next up, we got an email from Ed in Milwaukee.
Joanne and Stacey, here are my thoughts about Survivor 49. This is the first time this season that I am providing feedback, but I haven't missed an episode of your podcast since I discovered it during Gabon. My feedback is not as thorough as I would like, but I am rushing to write my feedback in order to meet your noon Eastern Standard Time deadline. I selfishly wish that you were still in the Pacific time zone. Overall, I felt that this was one of the worst seasons of Survivor. I believe that the cast was talented, but continually made bad moves. Sage predicted that Savannah would win, but instead of trying to vote her out, Sage led the charge to cannibalize her own tribe, rather than trying to take Savannah or Rizzo, who were most able to beat them. All season I was rooting for people to challenge Savannah and Rizzo, but during the final episode, I rooted for Savannah and Rizzo because those were the only two that deserved to win. Savannah said she was constantly dodging bullets, but in actuality, the bullets were aimed at other people. P.S. I don't believe that Savannah or Rizzo deserve to be invited to Survivor 50. There are so many other Survivor alumni who could have been invited back. Many may disagree, but I personally don't believe that knowing the names of family members should be a criteria for picking a winner. Winning multiple challenges far outweighs knowing family names. As always, I thank you for everything you do to bring us the world's best Survivor podcast. I listen to Rob C. and Probst's shows, but your podcast is better. Well, all right. Thanks, Ed.
Yeah.
Even though we're not the official podcast.
Yeah, we're not in the league of either one of those.
Yeah.
But how great is it that for the show that we love that we've got all that kind of coverage and
I love it.
That kind of commitment. There's just tons of people out there talking about it every week and getting ready for it, doing deep dives, all that. Good deal. Thanks, Ed. Next up, we got a call from Joe.
Well, that's a wrap on season 49. The unfortunate part is that so many of the players seem to be convinced there was some grand strategy unfolding, when reality, most no one was actually playing strategically. Week after week, they defaulted on the easy vote. Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all Survivor superfans. This is Joe from Huntersville. At this point, there is no need to relive the earlier missteps. So let's focus on this episode. Going into Tribal Council, Rizzo is flaunting his idol and Savannah is wearing the immunity necklace. The group somehow decided Christina was the biggest threat. Really? Sure, she had social connections, but how did they miss that Sophie B was the next biggest threat? Even Sage posed a bigger threat than Christina. But no, they took out Christina. Once we hit the final four, Sophie B pulling out that last immunity win was impressive. I also appreciated how she shut down the nonsense and focused on what mattered to her game. She chose the players who best aligned with her path forward. And honestly, given that group, second place was her ceiling. The worst possible scenario for her would have been Rizzo sitting it out while Sage and Savannah made fire. That likely would have produced a Rizzo, Savannah, Sophie final three, and Sophie would have landed in third place. I enjoyed the fire-making challenge. Going into the effort, the edit had me believing Rizzo was a seasoned pro, but I'm glad that didn't pan out. His setup looked like his ego was bigger than his actual ability to execute. I was relieved to see a clear second and third place was defined. For a moment, I was worried that Sage and Sophie might each walk away with just a single vote. Overall, this season had some promising characters who were completely wasted. It went from decent to downright rough as it dragged on. By the end, I didn't care for any of the final four. After sending this feedback in, I'll listen to what the fans have to say, but I won't be tuning into Jeff's podcast. This season is getting deleted from my DVR and filed under Do Not Rewatch. Looking ahead to season 50, I sincerely hope Rizzo and Savannah are early boots. Their presence alone casts a bad odor over the season. If it were up to me, Nate and MC would have been given the opportunity to return. Joanne and Stacy, you two really have something special here. Thanks for everything you do. This is Joe signing off.
We surely do. Thank you, Joe. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Justin.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and all the Survivor Super fans. It's your JSFL Side Challenge champion, Justin from Michigan, calling in. And I wasn't expecting to win the Side Challenge. I I knew I wasn't going to lose because Savannah was my USB 24. But I only got 3 out of the 5 right. I flipped Christina and Sage, but I guess that was enough, and I will take it. Get the business right out of the way first. I am going to propose that Parker sings Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys. I think it's fitting that Savannah won by winning Fire, and it was an all-female Final 3. So Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys will be the parody song for the JSFL Side Challenge. I kind of echo your guys' sentiment. I thought it was a good way to finish the season that overall wasn't great. I enjoyed this finale. Really looking forward to 50. The only thing I will say about the final tribal council is I was surprised that Sophie didn't get questioned or grilled about how to use her knowledge as power. I kind of wanted somebody to ask her, hey, did you consider taking Rizzo's idol and trying to take him out with it? I think that would have been a worthwhile question to go through her thought process on that, and for her to acknowledge that, yes, that would have been the better move in hindsight. So other than that, I thought everything was good. I mean, Sage still confuses me. I give her props for being in the military and making a career out of it, or 10-year career. I mean, in military years, that's pretty much a full career. But I don't understand, unless she really went through a lot of trauma during that time, I just don't see the mental toughness that the military usually requires. And that's harsh to say, but it does surprise me that for who we saw on screen and at this after show, I think she needs to really work on herself and get her confidence and self-assurance back up. So I will end it there. Again, looking forward to hearing Parker sing a parody of Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys. Have a good winter, guys, and Merry Christmas.
All right. Thanks, Justin. Good job. I'm looking forward to Girl on Fire parody, too. Next up, we got a call from Jill.
Hi, Joe and Stacey. Hi, Survivor fans. Jill in the Outback here. Thank God that's over. But I'm happy enough that Savannah won it. I just think she's the best of the bad bunch. In any other season, she gets kicked out 2 seconds after the merge. And finally, at Final 5, Sophie says that she's going to make a big move. Oh, mate, you're only about 6 weeks late. I agree with what you're saying about the challenges being a little soft at this stage of the season. Normally we get a big, long endurance challenge, which we didn't seem to get. But Jeff has said many times how hot it has been this season. I wonder if they pared things back a bit because of that. Speaking of being hot, it's really hot here today too, and I apologise for the air conditioner noise in the background, but I'm not turning it off. It'll be really interesting to see how Rizzo and Savannah will go in season 50. I don't think they'll go really well at all, but I do wonder if they stick together as a pair, but if they can get together at any stage, or if Rizzo sort of throws Savannah under the bus and tells everyone that she was the winner. And post-season 50, I think it's good that we've got super fans on the show, but I just wonder if they just want to be on Survivor. I think we need people that want to win Survivor more than just want to be there for the experience of it. I think super fans are almost the new mums on holiday. So even though this hasn't been my most favourite season ever, any Survivor's better than no Survivors. So I'll leave it here and look forward to season 50. Thank you, Joanne and Stacey, for everything that you do with the podcast. Merry Christmas to everyone and happy days. Bye.
Thank you, Jill. Good job.
Yeah. I think it would be really bad if they got on the same tribe because they're the two unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
And they, in my opinion, okay, I don't know you. I don't know how you play. Don't know anything about you. You're probably going to be the first two out.
Yeah, it's always interesting with big returnee seasons how those kind of things are viewed. Certainly worked to Russell's advantage, and he went deep being the unknown. But hopefully they would recall that and maybe take action. But it looks like they do start off on different tribes. Thanks again, Jill. Next up, got an email from Josh, the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacey, thanks to the Donald, it took 2 days to see the whole finale, but it was pretty entertaining with a satisfying winner. I was glad to see that the jury wasn't bitter with that one exception. Well, they were definitely bitter. There's a lot of bitterness towards Sage. My other observations...
Oh, you're talking about that came out after the finale. I think he's talking about in the finale.
Yeah, some of it's there, but it's not as evident, I think. My other observations, Rizzo expected fireworks, but he couldn't make fire that works. I like that. Nice. The restaurant at Sanctuary has a very lax dress code. It should be no mud allowed. Agreed. I think I would find a way to trip getting off the boat so that I fell into the water.
Yeah, exactly.
Knowing Propes, though, they probably carry a bucket of mud that they can reapply. Rizzo excels at copying puzzles. Too bad he couldn't copy Savannah's check, too. Sage versus Christina was a literal Sophie's choice, but I don't think either option would have worked for her. It was fitting that Challenge Shark Savannah solved the shark puzzle to win immunity at 5. Roll Out the Barrel definitely isn't Christina's favorite polka song. Christina said she fell, I think 8 times. They only showed the one. She said there was one that was worse than the one they showed. Mustachioed Steven looked like he should be wearing a pocket protector. Rizzo's idol was described as the 9 Lives idol. The show missed a sponsorship opportunity. Yeah, could have had a cat food sponsor, huh? Our DVR recording was trumped by 20 minutes of noise and didn't resume taping afterwards. The Boy Who Cried Idol is the title of Rizzo's upcoming autobiography. Sophie came roaring back in the challenge like Usain Bolt giving couch potatoes a head start in a race. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Rizzo's note to self: do puzzles before playing Survivor. Season 50's reality? Didn't do that. Cramming for fire looks as effective as cramming for final exams. The bird that pooped on Rizzo wasn't the bluebird of happiness. It was the pigeon of despair. Every day, Sophie feels her grandma, but she still doesn't follow her advice. Rizzo wanted to make fire against Savannah. Be careful what you ask for. For anyone looking for a Christmas gift for Sage, Amazon sells a I Just Pooped My Pants t-shirt. Riz God isn't the god of fire. In fact, his divine halitosis actually suppresses flames. I don't think that 3 Girls on the Beach will ever chart on Spotify.
I want it to.
Yeah, that was good. That was clever. Whoever thought to bring that back, since they're the ones who were still there in the end. Yeah. Sage is a little bird who drops grenades from under her wing. Maybe that's what hit Rizzo. Juwan asked the 3 for their whys. I had to use the 5 whys to make sense of this season's gameplay. Yeah, I don't know. I doubt you found anything conclusive, huh? Christina was mean. Asking Fembot Savannah to name family members is like asking a laptop to dance. Oh, that's good. Sage's gameplay made more sense to me when she admitted she was a former Army intel analyst. Soph survived 12 tribals. The audience survived 13. That's perfect. That's like a tagline for the whole season. This was the first all-female final tribal since season 29. Was it the first one ever with 3 S-named women? I believe so. When the crew put the big logo in front of the massive hole in the ship, it reminded me of hanging a picture to hide wall damage. The 3 finalists holding hands while Jeff read the votes looked like pageant queens waiting to see which would be named Miss Survivor. I'd love to ask Jawan how doing a spit take with champagne compares to doing one with water. Lawatu means highest ranking woman in the village, so an all-female final 3 was poetic. Former anchorwoman Savannah didn't know what to say when asked about joining the greats. That's because there wasn't a teleprompter on the set. We used to have the God Idol. This season had the Riz God Idol. Jawan said after show pizza is pretty good. I wonder what season 48's Justin would have said. Alex says he sits at his desk 24 hours for work. He needs a better employment contract. Yeah, and he's got a government job. There's no way he's there 24 hours. For season 50, Q threatened to cancel everything, but he forgot to say stamps. Does Jawan make the over-the-top face when he finds a penny on the ground? Yeah, I imagine he does, just in case there's a camera nearby.
If the camera's on.
If season 50 can afford on-site celebrity cameos, why couldn't they have done loved ones visits for recent seasons? They got to bank it up for the big ones every 10. Anyway, that's it for me for this season. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Happy holidays, everybody. See you for season 50. Thanks, Josh. Great job. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
Hello, Survivor family. It's Jeremiah here with my thoughts on the season 49 finale. A finale that I thought overall was not bad. There was a couple of fun moments, a few mild surprises, and we ended up with a winner that I felt represented the season pretty well. My biggest issue with Savannah winning is the same feeling that a lot of fans have, where they put a lot of emphasis on the fact that she was more physical than anything else, and I just don't think she had a lot of other attributes to the game. At least that's the way it was presented to us this season. Between the three, I think I still would have preferred Sophie, and I'm not just saying that because she was my 24-point USB. I just felt like she kind of deserved it there towards the end. She had a better social game. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Because let's be fair, that three would have never made it as far without her helping. But as we pointed out, she had made lots of mistakes. It sure would have been exciting to see if she would have used that knowledge of power wisely and took Rizzo's idol. That would have been really interesting to see, because I think she wins if she would have done that. But like I said, I'm okay with Savannah being the winner. As for the overall season, I felt like it was just okay. I get the feeling that, of course, a lot of fans were disappointed and did not like it as much. It will be interesting to see how the season feels on a rewatch. The first half was very predictable, but mainly because we had one disaster tribe. And of course, the second half of the season was a little less predictable, which I do appreciate. We did have some interesting characters, but none of them really drawn to me too much. Obviously, Rizzo being one of them, but even him, some of his antics sometimes really did annoy me a little bit. But I don't hate him. I think the biggest complaint I've been hearing online is the fact that they feel like that this is a season full of a lot of bad gameplay. But, to be fair, everyone, pretty much every season has players that play poorly. This is just another season where you had three players that stuck together very closely and were a lot better than the rest of them. But to be fair to the argument, I do think, though, that the three players that seem to be playing the best, I think the biggest problem with the season is that their gameplay overall had a lot of question marks. And I think that's probably the issue with most people. So I'll give the season a C+. And now we can finally turn our attention to the big season 50 that we've all been waiting for a while now. Back in May, I already had made a 5-minute rant when they announced the cast. Granted, I did not know who was on from season 49, but despite my concerns, I am very excited about the upcoming season. I love this idea that CBS has where they've hidden idols in every state. I know that I'm going to try to get a little alliance going on here in Southern California to see if I can find the California one. Now, when I saw the preview, I have to admit, I was a little concerned we're going a little too big brotherish here, having Mr. Beast and some music stars and all that stuff. But I'm going to give it a chance here, and hopefully those things aren't too ridiculous. I get it. It's season 50. They want to do something wild. But I'll save the rest of my 50 thoughts until we do our On the Grill here in a couple of months. And I hope everybody has a happy holidays. Joan and Stacy, thanks for everything. And until next time, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremiah. Yeah, I had the similar sort of reaction. I saw Mr. Beast and who was the country guy? Zach Brown. They showed, and then the Jimmy Fallon reference, a Billie Eilish reference. I was like, oh my goodness, what is that schmuck Probst up to? And then I thought, no, wait. We need to continually refresh and bring more people, at least get them exposed to how great the show is. So if that ends up bringing in more fans, more Gen Alpha, more Gen Z, then I think overall it'll be a really good thing. All
right, good job, baby.
While I don't care for Mr. Beast at all, the scope.
I didn't know who he was.
When you go look at his videos, he'll have a video that gets more watches than all the episodes of a Survivor season combined. That's a huge scope. I think he's got like 450 plus million followers for his YouTube channel. There could be an explosion of new fans of Survivor coming off of something like that.
Awesome.
So, yeah, maybe it is a real positive. That's why I said I've been on a roller coaster thinking about it afterwards. So I'm similar to Jeremiah in that effect. Thanks again, Jeremiah. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California, and here are my thoughts on the Survivor 49 season finale. Well, I will say this. I did not have high expectations at all. I expected to be very frustrated at the end of the episode, but I wasn't, actually. I think in light of how everything played out, the right person won. And I'm satisfied with that because I don't know that Sophie and Sage did enough to overcome the achievements that Savannah made throughout the season, despite the fact that she was an awful social player. But for me, this season's finale, and I guess this season, in fact, was a callback to another awful social player who, when he played, people were very upset in his first season that he did not win the season, despite the fact that he was incredibly not liked. And that's Russell Hantz. So overall, I feel like the female Russell Hantz won this season. Christina's final tribal council question really brought that to the forefront for me, because that was Natalie's argument in Survivor Samoa. It was that while Russell burned all the bridges and had the strategy, they wouldn't have won without her strategy of making connections with people and getting to know them. And she went person by person and described all of the things she knew about their lives, and they rewarded that. And I think so much throughout the 40s seasons, we've seen juries reward the people who were just simply nice to them throughout the season, or at least it feels that way. I don't know. I don't remember that clearly, but I think it was time for the pendulum to swing back the other way and for a jury to reward a truly cutthroat player, and Savannah, I think, fit that bill. So did I love the season? Did I like it? No, but I wasn't disappointed. So there's that. I got my final 5 100% incorrect. No surprise there. And overall, I'm just happy to put a bow on this season and to start looking forward to Survivor Season 50. I am so pumped for that. But that aside, where does this season land for me as a whole? I'm going to say not very high. But honestly, I could say that for every single season of the 40s. So I liked very few Survivor 40-somethings. I would say because of who the winner is, it probably would maybe be at the top of my 40s rankings, but that's not saying much because other than like 2 or 3 seasons like Nicaragua, I'm going to say Survivor 49 is in my bottom 10. They really can only go up from here. As for whose gameplay impressed me the most, I guess I would just say Savannah because she tied the record for challenge wins. That is very impressive. I would say Rizzo's gameplay was good, but my overall impression of him has been impacted by some interviews I've heard him give where he labeled himself Survivor legend. I don't know, that's not landing with me for some reason. I think Sophie B had all the makings of a great Survivor player but did not get there. Right. I look forward to hearing what everybody else's thoughts are. Joanne and Stacy, thank you so much again for giving us this podcast to share. I truly appreciate you and all who participate. I can't wait for the On the Grill podcast to drop in February. Have a wonderful holiday season. Till next year. Cheers.
Fantastic. Good job, Jen. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, I don't think Rizzo's going to do well in 50.
No?
No. Not if he lets that ego out at all.
Well, he did seem to be...
That he thinks he's a legend amongst the legends.
Right. That was his goal. That's what he said in some of his interviews. I heard that too. That was his main thing, was to come in and be a legend. And the thing that he was really disciplined about was that kind of talk, that was confessionals. We didn't hear that when he was interacting with any other castaways.
No, they didn't hear that.
So he was really disciplined with that thing. And none of these people are going to know that about him outside of maybe Savannah. And who knows how much attention she was really... I doubt she really paid a whole lot of attention to him, since that is clearly not her strong suit. And she's got no problem owning it too. Yeah, she was still fine owning that Christina question. That didn't hurt Savannah's feelings at all. She's like, yeah, well, it's true. I couldn't remember anything at that point. That was the best that she could muster, and she was still saying that in her interviews afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't have any problem with how she answered it.
Yeah, the bigger issue to me seems to be the cast, because while they gave Savannah a pass for having an incredibly poor social game, like Jen was saying, something that isn't typical at all. And then they really punished Sage for her game and the social aspects of her game. So, in the interactions with her. And Sage still isn't on good terms with most of this cast from the exit interviews. So, yeah, she's kind of isolated from the cast. Some of that's her doing, some of that's theirs.
Okay.
Interesting to see how that was all perceived and applied by this cast, by this jury. Good stuff. Thanks, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul, Louisiana here. Of course, that didn't go anywhere near how I thought it would go, but I had a better time watching the finale than I thought I would. I guess it ended on a slightly higher note than I expected, but it doesn't change my mind in believing that this was one of the worst seasons that I've seen. I guess the ends just didn't justify the means for me. Yeah, I was actually happy that Savannah won, but I was still disappointed as well. It's hard to explain exactly in such a short amount of time, but the reason I was happy was because she seemed less robotic last night. Far less, in fact. Did anyone else notice a change in her? At that final tribal, I expected her to do well, but she really nailed her answers down pat, even handling Christina's question well, which was certainly meant to put her in her place or even attack her. I felt that she managed to actually talk to each jury member personally when answering, as well as to the entire jury as a whole. I haven't listened to Joanne and Stacy's recap yet, so I don't know if it was just me, but honestly, Savannah seemed likable, especially when she flat out refused to vote out Sage, which I never saw coming. But I can't shake her previous attitude throughout the game previous to this. And I'm just wondering where this Savannah was earlier. That said, I still wish that CBS or Jeff or whoever didn't pick two players to return from what I feel is one of the worst seasons in 49 years, which brings me to the main focus of my feedback here. What makes a season good or bad? Obviously, it's about gameplay, but I'm going to narrow it down further and say that it's the cast themselves, how they see the game, what they know of it, and I guess what drives them. So then, does that narrow the blame down to casting? I think so. I've been saying for more than a few seasons that the casting department has seriously been failing, and honestly, this season only highlighted that more for me. Is it the number of younger players? I can't offhand say for sure, but I think we've had a more youthful set of players in these past few seasons. So could that be the reason I feel so about Survivor since COVID? I mean, does it boil down to being older or wiser enough to know what to do, while our younger players are too young to make good decisions? Sophie B clearly comes to mind in that respect. But I do understand that it could just be me because I'm 25 years older than I was when I started watching this show. And as you know, I always say that I'm turning into a crotchety old man. So, well, there's that. But I do believe that the diversity that we have in this new era sort of excludes, or at least minimizes, older and wiser players. Nate was considered an older player, and that was even pointed out, but I really don't think he was old, or at least that old. We used to have season after season of players his age, and they were exciting seasons. But now we have players that just don't appear to want to play tough. They're softer or something. I don't know. On the other hand, we had Savannah and Rizzo dictate to others how they should feel and react and even vote. And that was just depressing to me because no one seemed to fight for themselves. They were soft. And that, in a nutshell, is why I disliked this season. So I'm going to drop this now and just say that I'm now anxiously awaiting season 50, where Rizzo will see that he wasn't playing grad school Survivor, but grade school Survivor.
Perfect.
I'm expecting that the experienced players coming in will rather play with the devil they know rather than these unknown new players. Do your stuff, Suri. And I guess that's it for me. Again, I hope I didn't come across too negative, because all in all, I still have faith in my favorite show, and I can't wait to see what happens next season. Everyone have happy holidays, and be safe out there. Thank you, everyone who participates, and mostly thank you, Joanne and Stacy. You always go above and beyond. This is Paul in Louisiana, signing off. Bye.
Thanks, Paul. Good deal. I just go back and look at 47. That was a phenomenal cast. Rachel Lamont is... She's such a, I mean, both in the challenge wins and the social aspect of her game. And then you had Genevieve, and you had Sam, and then you had Andy and Teeny.
For 50?
Being the Rachel?
Uh-huh.
No. The three winners are Savannah, Dee, and Kyle.
Okay.
And I believe they all start out on different tribes, all from the 40s. No, unfortunately, Rachel's not. But Rachel, when you even hear, I still listen, read interviews with her, because she offers, you can see there's so many layers to how she approaches the game. So I don't know. There was a lot of fantastic players in 47 and across the different age groups. So
When you, I think it's the same as with Kim Spradlin, just awesome out the gate, very first season. And those people probably shouldn't return and play again.
Yeah, because the chances of them dampening their legacy is so high,
Yes.
but the enticement of the million is also so great. Yeah.
Yes, it is. But, I think as far as your being a legend, you're better off not to play again and risk it.
You know, that's an interesting comparison with that season too, because there's so many, for me, unlikable people on that season. And then Kim seemed to be above and beyond them in terms of her ability,
no question,
social, strategic, and
everything.
Physical. Yeah, and the outplay part. So yeah, she was on a whole nother level, and she had some good support in her alliance too. And then the like her number 2 just sort of gave up at the end, didn't even challenge her.
Just supporting her.
Yeah. That was strange how that ended, but yeah. But even she did well in Winners at War in terms of, I guess, how she presented herself. It wasn't as bad as some of the others. Like Ben took such a bad turn in 40 for me.
Or JT, you know, he got.
Oh well, yeah, he got pummeled. Yeah, super. That was rough.
So.
And heroes versus villains. That was sad. Yeah, I hope they all show up to really play for 50. I hope 50 ends up being something great, and I'm looking forward to it also.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I thought. At least we know that even with Savannah and Rizzo, they want to play the game.
And they can. We know that this is a group of people that can
play.
Although, you know, there's so many from the 40s. Half the cast is from the 40s that I could have done without. But there's definitely some in there that are good, too. It's like, do we really need to see Joe, Kyle, and Camilla again? It would have been fine if it was just Camilla.
Camilla.
But I understand why
soon.
Joe was so popular. It's that popularity thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good deal. Well, there it is. Is there anything else you want to say about 49?
No, I think we've covered it. I'm ready to put it to bed.
Yes.
I have my good feeling because that's how I ended the season.
Even though the whole season was like a failure to launch kind of scenario.
Yeah, but I'll forget that
and a
because I have a
disaster.
good feeling right now.
Yes.
I was like, I enjoyed that.
Just how it ends. Yes.
And that's what I'll remember.
Yeah. There was the
Mostly,
explosions on the launch pad. Stephen could have summed this up. Yeah. There was all the disasters at the beginning of the launching. And then there was all the failures to launch all throughout this season that made it so frustrating. But at least it ended.
I enjoyed the finale.
It ended on an okay note, but it was also still representative of how uneven the whole season was. Savannah's rewarded just for her physical delivery of winning challenges, and then Sage is punished. She's not the one that supposedly had a social game, but gets punished for it. And Sage I did want to say this too, because I thought it was interesting. Sage was talking about, because she's a therapist, and she's really good at compartmentalizing. And in her exit interview, she was saying, I think maybe part of it was, I can sit down and have a deeply personal talk with you, and then we're done, and I put that away just like I do in my job, because I have to protect what you share with me, right? Because things that people share with her are covered by the HIPAA restriction.
To repeat it.
Right. She's not allowed to share any of that stuff. So she's really good at that. Okay, this is that interaction, put it in that box. Now put that box away, protect it. And so they felt, she's surmising they might have felt more betrayed by that, because she had the ability to connect with you deeply and then completely discard you in the context of the game
and disconnect from you.
Right.
I think is because that's how I see her.
That's a good way to do it. Yeah.
As she disconnects.
Right.
And
they think it's still there. She's done with it. Yeah.
Well, I think people feel that too when someone disconnects.
It hits harder.
Yes.
Right?
They're
Yeah.
connected to you. You're there. You're hiking, and then they're just gone.
Sage compared it to like when you have the moms on there, and people expect the moms to be nurturing and kind, and when you get a mom that's cutthroat, she gets punished for it, because that's not what a mom's supposed to be. And so she was thinking that might be a part of it, but she doesn't have contact with them. She did give Shannon the big hug, and they did the reconciled, and she explained herself and talked about how she gave Shannon this heads up, and she talked about how gracefully Shannon managed all that too. Mm-hmm. That she was just full of grace and interactions and from that perspective.
So you're talking about an interview with Sage. You watched
different interviews. I've watched several with her, because hers didn't come out with the other four, and I thought, what's going on? It turns out I think she was just too sick maybe to do interviews on Thursday or something. Anyway, So I ended up watching more of hers than the others, and I was just getting these different cuts on things. I was like, oh, so they harshed her for her social game because she's able to do these kinds of things, and how that, and it's like you said, people react to that, and that was certainly a part of it. Whereas they completely gave Savannah a pass. Okay, so she's a robot and doesn't connect with people socially and can't remember anyone's name or who their loved ones are or anything. So they're like, okay, so you're not social, big deal. But Sage got punished. Savannah got a pass in a million. So that's kind of how that played out.
People are so impressed if someone remembers something about you. Like when we...
No.
Natalie White.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of those comparisons, but this cast isn't.
No.
They don't care that Savannah can't remember.
No, they didn't. But a lot of people do.
And that fits with this season. That unevenness, that leave you scratching your head. What are you doing? What are you thinking? Why didn't you? Are you gonna? And, with Sophie B and failure to deliver.
Do you think that had something to do with why Christina voted for Sophie B, who was mouthing her children's names and, as Savannah was saying,
offering some of the answers? Yeah, sure. Well, that, and she just
didn't want to
social
vote for Savannah.
isn't connection. Christina said in her exit interviews that kind of connection was important to her. That's what she valued. So she absolutely voted based on what she valued.
Not Savannah vote.
Yeah, well,
as well.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, it does work that way.
Yeah,
it can
it
cut
does.
that way for sure. Yes, Sage said Christina told Sage that she had her vote, and then obviously Christina changed her mind. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There we go. Okay, well, that's 49. Hey, we want to say, put that bow on it and set it aside. We want to say a big thank you to everybody who took time to send in your thoughts and help close out 49 and give us that look forward into 50. We loved hearing everything you had to say, and it's always great to get the balance. We want to say a big thanks to Kim for your recurring donation. We greatly appreciate that. Definitely, that's a big help with our operational cost. And we want to say a big thanks to Steve for the JSFL website. His hosting provider just dropped the ball there, and that's why it was down, but it's back up. Steve's got everything going again. Thank you, Steve. And Paul for working on the logo and the roster. I want to say a big thanks to Jeremiah and Mike for shepherding the Facebook fans page. Good job with that. We appreciate helping cultivate the community.
Okay, and congratulations once again to Hatter from Virginia and Soul Survivor 46 from Hawaii, who tied for the win in our fantasy league with 114 points.
Well done.
Also, congratulations to Justin for winning the side challenge with 110 points.
That's a really good showing, too. Yeah. Overall.
And he's already told us he chose the song Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys. I love that. I think it's going to be perfect. And Parker, I do hope that you have some fun putting it all together.
Yeah.
Make fun of it, do whatever. And, we really look forward to hearing what you create. And it will be due on whatever date we do the On the Grill Part 2 in February.
Yeah, just before it airs.
Yeah.
Yep, the first one airs. Hey, we're excited for season 50. We'll be back with our On the Grill podcast in mid-February.
Yeah.
It comes back, the first episode's on the 25th, so we'll be back a week and a half out from that with On the Grill Part 1, and then we'll queue it up for your On the Grill Part 2.
And we hope everyone who celebrates has a very Merry Christmas and best wishes for a happy and healthy New Year ahead. We'll see you there.
Have a good one.